Some people say fear makes you stronger. They've never spent a Halloween in Briar Hollow. Because here, fear doesn't forge you into steel. It rots you from the inside out. The day after the singing stopped, nobody went outside. Curtains stayed drawn. Doors stayed locked. I watched from the living room window as the sheriff's cruiser crawled past every house, his spotlight sweeping the yards. My mother didn't speak to me. She only sat at the kitchen table, staring at the floor where the message had been written in dripping letters the year before. I knew she was thinking about my father, about the night he vanished, about how the clown had promised he'd come back. That afternoon, I heard a soft tapping at the front door. My heart kicked in my chest. I crept to the peephole, praying it was just a neighbor. But there was nothing outside. No wind, no leaves blowing across the porch, just the silence that always came before he appeared. I turned to find my mother behind me, her face pale as candle wax. "Don't open it," she whispered. But the tapping started again, slower this time. Tap, tap, tap. She backed away, her hand trembling over her mouth. "He wants you," she said, her voice cracking. "He's always wanted you." I shook my head. "It isn't real," I said. "It's just a story." But I didn't believe it. I hadn't believed it since the first time I saw his smile. The tapping stopped. In its place came something worse, a slow, scraping sound, like fingernails dragging across the wood. My mother stumbled back, knocking over a lamp. In the sudden darkness, I felt the air change, heavy, damp, like the cellar the night we found the balloon. And then, from the other side of the door, he spoke for the first time in my life. His voice was soft, almost tender. "Time to come out, little boy." My mother screamed. She grabbed my arm, dragging me down the hallway toward the back door. We stumbled onto the porch, the cold air hitting us like a slap. Across every yard, red balloons bobbed in the breeze, tied to fences, to mailboxes, to the antennas of rusted cars. Each one carried a note. "Smile, smile, smile." My mother fell to her knees. "God help us," she whispered. But I knew God didn't come to Briar Hollow anymore. We ran through the yard, past the old oak tree, across the street to the church. Inside, a dozen families huddled together in the pews, eyes wide, lips moving in silent prayer. The sheriff stood near the altar, his hand resting on the butt of his revolver. He looked at me with something close to pity. "You saw him again," he said. I nodded. He spoke. The sheriff closed his eyes. "Then it's almost over." No one asked what he meant, because we all understood. The clown never spoke unless he was ready to take what he'd come for. The candles flickered in the draft as the wind picked up. A low moan rolled through the rafters, and then the doors flew open. Cold air roared down the aisle, extinguishing every flame. In the darkness, I heard the same children's song I'd heard the night before. "Grin so wide you'll never cry." The sheriff drew his gun. "Stay behind me," he ordered. My mother gripped my hand so tight my bones ached. A shape moved in the doorway, tall, lopsided, carrying something in one pale hand. A single red balloon. The sheriff raised his weapon. "Get out!" he shouted. The clown tilted his head as if studying us all. Slowly, he lifted the balloon and let it drift into the air. It floated down the aisle, bouncing off pews, brushing the heads of the silent children. When it reached me, it stopped. The string hung inches from my face. I couldn't look away, I couldn't breathe. On the side of the balloon, in black paint, was a single word. "Tomorrow." My mother began to say, because we all knew what it meant. We had one more night, one last chance to survive, or to smile wide and disappear like everyone else.